here with Scott Hazelton, whose father was a famous trainer, a legend in the Chicagoland area. Can you tell us a little bit about growing up with your father being so famous and being around horses all the time?
Well, I mean, for me, when you were young, or when I was young, he was just dad. So I wasn't quite aware of the achievements that he had until I got a little bit older and realized, what he had done in the game and had continued to do at that point. So, it was one of those things to me where he was always just dad to me growing up. And I obviously had a different upbringing than most people, spending a good chunk of my childhood and obviously my life at the racetrack, from Sportsman's Park to Hawthorne to Arlington Park, and time at Oaklawn Park. Spent a few years there when I was much younger, and then being born in Arizona, where things started for my father, starting training there at Turf Paradise and things of that nature. So it's just, when you're born into it, it's a way of life. And I mean, not until you get a little bit older and start to be around kids that whose families aren't involved in racing, it's a little different. But the nice thing about it is that when you're growing up, you get to bring your friends out to the track, and they always have a great time. So that's an easy way to make friends, and having them to come out and enjoy a day at the races like we did and continue to do.
Yeah, I remember those days at Sportsman's, because the winter would be dark in Chicago, and your father would bring in these horses from Turf Paradise and would just clean up at Sportsman's.
Yeah, he had a system down, and I've heard a lot of stories back during the 70s and 80s when he was really doing that they'd come in and in the springtime win 2, 3, 4, 5 races a day at Sportsman's Park. When I got a little bit older, back in the mid 80s when I started school, he stopped going back and forth between Arizona and Chicago and would just stay in Chicago. But he had a system down, had the resources to do it, and it worked for him for a number of years.
Yeah, I miss those good old days. Thanks a lot, Scott.
We do too as well. Thank you.